Hi guys, welcome back. We have dished our food and we're ready to have some good conversation over this amazing meal. How are you guys feeling about the food?
It looks so nice.
It looks so
I'm just
good.
looking at it, I'm just like...
Exactly. You really left it just waiting to
Alright,
devour.
you can tuck in.
Yeah.
Obviously, as we know, the discussion for today is we just want to have a discussion on whether brands are using racism as a marketing tool, which I strongly believe they are. And I'd like to just get the take on one, seeing as Ronke is in that industry, what her take on it is, and Jonathan too has an affinity with that industry, so it'll be interesting to see how they feel about it, and not just from, you know, the layman, someone on the outside world, because it's easy to be like, oh yeah, look, they're using racism, but from people that are within that industry, I think it's, you get to see it from a different perspective and understand it from a different angle. So we're gonna just go straight into that. I'm gonna pose it to you first, Jonathan. Do you think brands are using racism as a marketing tool?
I personally think they might be, but
Interesting.
there's no way of knowing for sure unless you were in that team that's producing whatever the marketing is. But shock has always been using shock has always been an effective factor when it comes to advertising. I don't know if you're aware of, in the 90s, the United Colors of Benetton.
Yeah.
They did a lot of controversial stuff.
Okay.
A lot of it was to do with race as well. So they have a picture of a black kid, white kid. The white kid's blonde, blue-eyed, and like hair like a cherubim.
Okay.
Black kid, two babies, and the black hair has been styled to look like horns.
Oh.
Yeah. But this is a fashion brand. What does that have to do with fashion? You understand?
Oh.
Yeah, so they have a lot of stuff. There's another one that there's different races. There's two white guys, one Chinese guy, and a black guy, all wearing polo shirts and sweaters. But one of the white guys he has his hands stretched over.
Okay.
And basically, you know how people tie their sweaters around their necks?
Yeah.
He's basically holding the sweater as if it's
A lead.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. So like that's always been something that's used. It's nothing new.
I didn't know that.
Well, that one's very outright racist.
Yeah.
But we're going to the point where we're at the point where it's a lot of it is very, what's the word? Covert.
Yeah.
So for example, there's a picture. I can't remember which brand it is. I think it was Gap. Was it Gap? I don't want to misquote it.
Yeah.
But it's another fashion brand. But they have a line of like kids. And there's a black girl. No, two girls actually. Two girls. White girl, black girl. Black girl is very short. White girl is taller. But she has a hand
on the shoulder.
Over.
Yeah.
On her head.
On her head.
On her head.
Oh, I saw that. I can't remember what brand it is, but yes, I saw that. I have seen that.
So it's
where she's using her.
So it begs the question, like, okay, how did this get out?
Yeah.
Were there, did anyone say, okay, this isn't a good idea?
Yeah.
Or were they saying, okay, this is going to make people stop
Because I feel
about
like it then poses a question of the teams themselves. Are there, is there diversity within the teams? Is there someone there speaking out? Because imagine you are, and how it works in a lot of work environments nowadays is you're like the one black person or something. So even if you are saying something, it's a case of either you say something and you pose the risk of, you know, losing your job, or, you know, or you don't say something but then you just have to deal with that. So that's something that is also questionable with these brands, because it's not one, it's not two. They're all doing it, and no one is actually, you know, speaking up about it, but none of these brands have come out to make, they're just running with it and take it how you take it. But another thing I feel is, especially with the ones that have happened in the recent years, the H&M one, or what was the other one that?
Dove?
There was the Dove one, the Dove one. Those two, especially in a society where we all take to social media so fast.
Yeah.
I feel like they're using black outrage as a way to get out.
Start trending.
Because if they're doing their thing, and then us as black people are coming over saying, oh, why are we doing this? Why are they doing this? And then people that kind of agree with those views, I feel, would then be like, oh, I'm now going to support this brand because they're doing this. That's how I feel. You don't agree?
At all.
Okay.
I say that because, okay, so first of all, I think the examples that Jonathan used were based on the fact that a lot of these advertising companies and brands, they are not diverse at all. They're not. And so a lot of the content they put out represent their racist or stereotypical or prejudiced perspectives. So that literally means that they do see us, whether it's unconscious or not, as lower than. And you know, if you think about it, when you're telling somebody you're doing something wrong, so if you're in a work environment, stop touching my hair, stop asking me, you know, where I'm originally from. They're like, oh no, why are you? It's okay. Like I wouldn't know. They're not really paying attention, and you can say it 10 times, and they'll still repeat the same thing because they're not doing the learning that it takes to understand that actually what you're doing is wrong. So you can imagine if you're in a creative environment and advertise, and you just want to create an advert. Oh, let me do this. Oh, that looks good, and you're just doing it automatically because you have that perception of black or brown or whatever people as lower than, so immediately that's going to be the case.
So it's their conditioning.
It's the conditioning, and I think, so you're right, you said something about if there's no black people or people of any other ethnicity in the team, or even if there are, saying something, you know, I'm sure hopefully somebody would have been like, that's not quite, but saying something might lose you your job. Now the Henny's thing, so if we look about the H&M's social media thing, my thing is perspective. So we grew up, right, in a generation that we didn't have social media. And some of the stuff that we were seeing, like, if we think about it, there was brands like Umbongo. There was that brand where the news, Umbongo, and they're in the jungle. I'm sure when we were young, we were like, Umbongo, not realising, you know, because we weren't woke when we were 5 years old. We were just, it came on, Umbongo, and you're singing along. Now you see those adverts, when the adverts back in the day are like, hold on a minute, that's not, because we're conditioned to it. And in social media, what that does is it drags out the outrage that we would never have picked up on before, right? And it amplifies things that suddenly, oh, hold on a minute, this is wrong. So there's lots of adverts through the history of time that perpetuate negative stereotyping. And I don't think it's the intention of the advertiser to be to use racism to sell their product. It just reflected the fact that they have racist ideals and stereotypes. And if you look at like going back to the Henny thing, first of all, and that's why we got to be careful of outrage, it wasn't an advert technically. It was an image from their website, right? That somebody found, like I don't know how long it had been on the Henny website, and somebody go, hold on, you know, they took it off. Sometimes it's taken out of context because everybody keeps saying it's an advert and it's not. It was an image. It was a wrong image. Like again, if I was on that team, I'd be like, no, it's an image. The mum said she was happy with it. Me, if the mummy, that's like, and what I didn't like is we took away that boy's right to any kind of anonymity when I get tongue-tied, because his image was being used to go viral and to trend. Henny's took it down as quick as can be, and that cost a lot of money. Not only did Henny take it down, when you do the studies and we get away from the outrage and the trending and the virility, they actually lost money. Henny's lost money. They had to close stores. They lost money on sales. That period of time, I was following the business papers. They had a real dip in sales. I don't know any company that's set up to make money who's going to say, let's do something racist so that we go viral, but actually it's going to lose us and close shops. People lost jobs. So sometimes you've got to start putting things in perspective. I think social media, what it does is it gets us all riled up. Things go viral.
It's an echo chamber.
And it's not, and honestly, I don't necessarily think it's the brand. Like, yes, if it goes viral for the right reason, that's wicked. But if it goes viral for the wrong reason, your PR and credibility, we saw that this week. Recently, I should say, with Lord Sugar, Alan Sugar, I don't want to call him Lord anymore. And he was using Twitter like it was his WhatsApp group. He was just showing a picture. He probably shared, this funny. And then it showed his racist stereotype. I don't think he would have wanted to go viral for that reason. You can see how quickly, you know, he didn't apologise, because I don't think he feels like he's racist. He doesn't think he's racist. No. But the BBC, obviously, so we have to put things in perspective sometimes, and we're just too quick sometimes to like, I don't know, logic. I'm always thinking about facts, so.
And Marjorie, when you're talking about the culture, the culture plays a very huge part in it. The culture of the workplace and whatever it is. So again, talking about like the don't touch my hair kind of stuff, and people just saying things that are offensive, but when you kind of explain it, it's a bit like, okay, I don't get why you're offended.
Right.
But it's like, so you have to kind of think about, okay, do I really want to go through this with you?
Yeah.
Will you understand?
Exactly.
Will you take it
But then,
seriously?
like me personally, I always go through it because I feel like me telling you it's offensive, and then you saying to me, "Oh, why is that offensive?" It's kind of invalidating my feelings. You're stripping me of my emotion. You're telling me I don't have a right to be angry or upset, and then when I do, you then label me as an angry black person in the office, and then all those stereotypes then come into play. They're then brought to the forefront because I've tried to speak to you as a person and say, look, I don't like it when you do this, but then you've said, oh no, well, it's not an offensive thing. If it was me, I wouldn't be offended, but it's not you.
Yeah, exactly.
So what are we doing here?
Can't tell me how I feel.
Because imagine I went into an office and I saw a woman with her hair and I was like, ooh, it's so flat, so silky. You're gonna be like, pardon? Like, they take away from, this is how it grows out of my head, this is how my skin is. But it's like, they amplify it, they not to say hypersexualize it, but they turn it into what it's not. It's really just how my skin is. It's really just how my hair is. It's not magic, it's not anything out of the norm. Yours is pale, mine is dark. Yours is straight, mine is curly. That's all it is. But then I feel like this then turns into other things. It kind of, streams into other sectors, if that makes sense.
Exhausting.
Yeah, very exhausting.
Having to explain your humanity on a day, literally
Why
on a daily
should
basis.
you have to explain your? Because that's perfect. Like you've literally said, I want to shake. I want to so much. Listen to it, deep it. You're having to explain your humanity. Are you? I'm a dog. It's crazy because even like with the hair touching thing, it's a thing where you're literally petting me. Don't touch my hair.
And they won't get that.
I'm not your dog, Kathy. I'm not your cat, Sue. I'm Wunmi with my hair, and that's fine. Like, it interests you, that's fine. You're intrigued by it, that's fine. If you have a question, ask a question. But it's a thing where they ask a question, the next black person that comes in the office, they ask the same bloody question. But Bimbo told you the week before, Ronke told you the week before, Chancel told you 3 weeks before.
Exactly, and that's what I'm saying. Can you see?
So they're not allowing, they're not going past their conditioning. That's exactly what it is. Their conditioning has blurred they're blind to it.
This is
and
what I'm saying. And it's like,
but then they're gonna have to start realizing you're blind to something, and because when a person is blind or partially blind, you get glasses. You correct these things, but they're not making that attempt. They still at a place where they want us to assimilate in their societies and their workplaces and within the medium and everything. And if you're not doing that, you're the problem. See,
you've hit a nail on the head, and I think this is why with the brands being racist on purpose, I don't think that's necessarily the case. However, one thing I will say is that the media itself amplifies these stories because the media, I feel like, is using whatever's going viral, whatever's going goes trending or whatever to really make it even bigger. So when you said something about they're using black Twitter or black social media to amplify their brands, I actually think it's the media. Because there's some things so obscure, like for example the Heineken advert, it was even, and when you, again, fact-based, when you look at it, it was a ridiculous advert, right? We can all watch that advert and be like, what is wrong with whoever made that advert? Is a fool.
It's stupid.
But it was an advert that was made for like the Australasian, the New Zealand market. It's probably been played, lots and lots of times before, and suddenly somebody must have seen the clip once online. God, it didn't look like it was a new advert actually. And then people were like, oh, the outrage. And then the media outlets, I noticed really, really quickly, all the mainstream media were just and there was no nuance, there was no discussion, nobody was held to account, nobody did the research to find out, okay, who's the advertising agency, who's responsible. What irritates me is, even if we're going to do this, let's find whoever's responsible.
But they never do.
No, and I feel like the media loves it. They love the hashtag, they love the conversation, they want to just let's keep. They're the ones who, it's the media that's monetizing. Because if you think about it, those brands, Heineken had to pull that out. All these brands, even when you look at the Dove thing, they have to pull the ads, they have to pull the product or whatever it is. It's costing them big money and losing people jobs. If you really think about what the impact on the brand. But for the media, that's clicks, that's papers, that's, do you know what I mean? That's constant conversation,
and
they put on the website.
Everything. It's not
they do that all the time, they love it. That's why I'm thinking, okay, we have to be angry and we have to talk about it, we also have to be concerted about how we use our anger, because people are using us, we're not using them. They don't feature us for good stuff. They usually feature black people for we're angry. We're angry about something, which, you know, we're justifiably angry, but like you said earlier, you're not, are you paying attention to why we're angry? Because why do we keep getting angry? Because you keep messing up, you're not paying attention to us, you're not listening to us, you're not learning. It's a cycle. So if it was like things were changing for the better, then I'd be...
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, we're getting there, but it's not a case of we're getting there, and that's where it becomes, like you said, exhausting and tiring. And it's like, I'm going to be angry until you listen to me. But then as I'm angry, you're going to be like, well, she's just an angry black woman. Yeah. And it's... they love that.
Reality TV, if you go on, I'm sure even when people watch your show, if you go onto reality TV, they love that framing of the angry black woman.
Especially on Big Brother.
All of them.
All of them. Like, it's with it, especially within the UK, it's crazy because it's like, even with like the whole Love Island thing, I do not follow it for the life
It's muted on my Twitter.
I've literally got to the stage where I'm muting the certain names, because when AO comes up, I'm like, okay, that's another name for the show, I'm gonna mute that one. Samira, I muted that at the beginning of, but then it's a thing where I'm seeing things and you're seeing articles and stuff, like someone tweeted recently saying, oh, someone in her office said she had an attitude like Samira. When, from what I've heard within social media, is that Samira is actually one of the most peaceful people in there. But automatically, because she's black, she's one, not attractive enough apparently, and secondly, she's got an attitude. And I'm not watching it, I don't know much about it, but I'm just going off what I've picked up. Like once or twice I've clicked on articles just to see what they're saying, because my sister said to me, oh, Wunmi, you need to speak on it. I'm like, I can't speak on something I don't watch. I don't watch reality TV for the life of me, so I can't speak on that. I'm a person that is very, I will only speak on something that I'm sure of. But from what I've seen, it's not right. And you know, it's still a thing where even in like the reality TV world, they're still just using token people.
They're using token people, because obviously diversity doesn't mean inclusion. You can just put one random black person in a room, and it doesn't mean that it's an inclusive environment.
Exactly.
And you can see that with the Love Island situation. But also what I've noticed is, and you said something, I keep going back to what you said earlier about the power of black Twitter and black engagement on social media, and we're not monetizing it enough. We're not using our voice and our power enough, because even with Love Island, I've noticed, it literally is because of black Twitter. Maybe, you know, obviously wider world, but black Twitter, especially for Samira, really on it. It's trending every single day. Samira. And I just noticed, I don't know how to get, I've never been behind the scenes of media, but I feel like they're going to keep her in as long as possible. Yeah. Because they know black women and black men, the wider community are behind Samira and want her to be in it. And there's this whole, and because there's a lot of articles now, and that's probably the ones that you refer to, about, you know, a black woman being undesirable. So and they're getting mainstream coverage. This isn't just on someone's micro blog. This is big news outlets allowing people to write about Samira and Love Island and all. So it makes you think, oh, they're playing the game as well, and they're using black Twitter to make sure we keep tuning in and kind of using us as puppets almost. It almost feels like that, and using that anger as well.
It's like you said, Samira is literally the one name that's tweeting that's trending the most, and it's crazy because that's the one person they're trying to strip of all emotion, strip of her beauty and everything, but she's the one that's getting, that has people watching your show. So
they're gonna keep her in.
What are we doing it? Like, but then that goes to show, like you said, we're not using it to our advantage, because one, she shouldn't be in that kind of environment in the first place. I would never put, my sister told me she wanted to apply for it, and I was like, sorry. And my sister is not, she doesn't fit their agenda. I don't like that word too much, but she doesn't, my sister, even if she was to, I don't think she'd be casted. She doesn't fit into that, I'm going to be all mousy and quiet. My sister's she's going to go there and shake tables, shake benches. So when she said it to me, I kind of laughed it off. And then obviously she's a dark skin, you know, there's so many nuances to it. But so I feel like when they do include a black person in anything, it's always one that fits their agenda, so to speak. It's always a one that's quiet, one that's still, you know, that's not really, doesn't have that kind of voice. Like someone like me, imagine they put me on Good Morning TV to talk about, they're going to be cutting cameras so fast.
You get rid of
No, and they'll come back and they'll be like, where did Wunmi go? Oh well, she had an emergency. They're not putting people that have voices on the mainstream, because we're not assimilating. We're not doing what they. When me, I cannot be used as a puppet. Ever. Can't be done.
There's the other factor where sometimes they will put someone like with a very like colourful personality on purpose because
they know.
Like the Big Nasty.
Oh yeah, he's got a show coming up, isn't he?
Yeah, him and Mo.
This guy's everywhere. Yeah, which is great. He's doing really well. But it's like I'm watching it and I almost feel like okay, they're putting him on because it's kind of like
it's entertainment for them.
Yeah.
That's probably what it is.
Yeah. Not because
entertainment for them. They get to sit there and go, ha ha ha, look at that fat black guy, kiki.
But they won't say that, but like...
They won't say it like, they will never say it like that. They're like, yeah, we're putting him on, we're doing... I feel like, not to take away from what he's doing, because he's talented.
Yeah,
he's out there, he's been doing bits for years. So he didn't just come overnight. Big Nasty is, but and obviously I can't make an assumption on what their intentions are, but if you look at it like, let's look at it objectively. Is it really just because they love Big Nasty? Or is there more to it?
So what are you saying?
I feel like a lot of these people that then put people like Big Nasty on, it's more of a thing where it's entertainment for them. You know, they can hide under the umbrella of inclusivity. Look, Big Nasty's now on Channel 4. But realistically, they know it's going to get them views, so it's beneficial for them. They're going to get views because black people are going to tune in. But then they're not doing it because they care for Big Nasty. Because even the clip that was going around of him pushing someone off of him, and there was an article that came out, something that came out that was like, oh, he's too aggressive for mainstream TV.
Oh really? There was an article?
I was like, if anybody was coming at me with that kind of energy, I'ma push you.
Yeah. Anybody would. Yeah.
Anybody, do you know what I mean? But then they tried to turn it into this whole, and I was like, oh, is this not the guy that you guys were all trying to put on a second ago?
But look, he has to be smart and wise anyway, and I'm sure he is. And I feel like he's playing the game. He's playing them just as much. Well, there's something I'm seeing in him.
Yeah.
That, you know, if we're gonna use the whole respectability politics thing and say, oh, why does he have to be this way? You know, I see some people say that. You know, why couldn't he be a bit more, I don't know, like Michael Dapper or even Moda Comedian, a bit more. You can still be street, but not as street. You know what I mean? Or a bit more like Stormzy, who knows how to navigate. But I feel like Big Nasty probably does know how to navigate his spaces. And I feel like sometimes he does it even just to play them as much. And I think the joke's on them. Yeah. And as much as he can squeeze out of them, I want him to do it.
Oh,
I feel
like
I agree 100% with what you're saying in terms of they are using him for he's gonna go, his show's probably gonna smash it. He's gonna have a huge level of engagement. But as much for him, the endorsement, and what I love about this whole trend of, specifically, I mean, it's interesting because we're talking about black men now. I'm not even talking about black women, but black men using their brands and capitalizing their brands. It's just, this is where the renaissance, and this is what I was talking about, how we can be powerful. And I hope it will open up to black women too. But the black men who are using their brands and making that money from the traditional gatekeepers, that's what I like, especially in the UK. Because if you think about it, I feel like somebody like Big Nasty would have been huge in the US by now. There's not, there's lots of personalities like him in the US. Nothing really like him here because of the whole, you've got to be a certain way. I mean, the last time we had somebody a little bit like him was maybe Richard Blackwood. And you see where, I mean, he's still doing great stuff, but he had a point, he had like a peak, and now he's kind of going down a bit, which is a shame. So I feel like if Big Nasty can keep strategic and keep, there's a game he's playing, and I just want him to keep squeezing. Squeeze it all out of them, take it all.
Yeah, so I think that was quite interesting. You kind of changed my view on it. So maybe it's not necessarily the brand using racism as a marketing tool, because in the long run and overall they're losing more than they'd be gaining from it. So, but I think it is a thing where the media is taking the outrage word and then amplifying it and they're the ones that benefit from it as opposed to the brands, which this is why I say it's all good to have conversations. I would have never thought of it like that, but it makes a lot of sense because like you have said, if you're going to put out something that's racist and you know that's racism is going to take from you as opposed to putting more in your pocket, then you'd be silly to do that. So maybe it isn't the brands. Not to say maybe anymore. I won't say maybe. It's not the brand. it's the amplification that it gets from the social media and then the media outlets, because they don't care about anyone's feelings. They're just trying to get those clicks, like you said, and get the engagement and the papers. How do you feel?
I hadn't considered it that deeply.
Yeah.
Like, my whole thing was like, okay, I'm not in the room. So I don't know if they're trying possibly, but like again, it doesn't really make much sense to kind of shoot yourself in the foot just for people to be talking about it. But it's just like going back to the culture of it as well. There's certain things like the imagery and the tones and everything when you're putting an advert together or a poster or whatever it is. There's certain things that you need. That's why you need to have diverse leaders in your organization, because they're like, hold up, this doesn't look right.
And it's not just about making it diverse; it's about making it diverse and inclusive.
Yeah.
Because there's no point in having a black person or a person of another ethnic. I don't like the term POC, so I won't be or someone of another minority ethnicity, and them just being there for decoration. Because some people are really there as decoration. You know, like the star on the tree at the top. That's all they are. They're tinsel. They're not really. They don't want to hear. Because if you go into a meeting and you say, "Oh, but X, Y, Z," they'll be like, "Okay." They're not writing it down. They're not taking the notes. They don't care for what you're saying. You're just filling their quota, and that's a whole different discussion. But they're really just filling a quota. So it's like, what are we doing? So it's one thing to diversify. It's inclusivity and diversity are two. They should be joined. They should be intertwined, but they're really not. And that's where the problem lies. And everyone's tired. Nobody wants to be the person that's filling your quota. Don't tell me, so I can be there and you be looking at my jollof rice funny and everything. No one has time for that. It has become such an exhausting thing to have to deal with. And most times you're going into certain places, you know that's what you have to deal with. So you're either gonna go in there with like a shield on, and it's like, how long are you going? Why should you have to dilute yourself or protect yourself that much? And then, like you said, you're no longer human. You have to be this warrior every time. No one has. That's draining. Mentally, physically, everything. It's draining. And there's only so long people are. That's why. I'm not even gonna get into it. I was gonna say something else. I'm like, let me just leave it there. But this conversation, one, has changed my view on certain things, and words that completely different now. So thank you for that. It's very interesting talking. I think one of the most important things you can do is just have conversations, because with conversation, it allows you. And it's not a debate. We're not fighting. I have a view. If you have something, you can tell me. If you can educate me on something, I want to hear it, because that's how things start to move and minds start to shift. And with mind shifting, movements happen, and it all goes full circle. So thank you so much for joining me. It's been a pleasure having you.
Oh, it's been brilliant.
Now you have to tell me how you feel about the food. Out of 10.
Not even a number, you know.
Out of 10.
Sometimes you can't put a
Number.
You just put a sound effect.
Bang.
I would say exquisite. Absolutely. If you were on Come Dine With Me, you'd get money.
Oh, I might have to pencil that in. I might become to Come Dine With Me.
You should do it.
But I'm happy you feel that way. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for tuning in, listening to our conversation. I hope it's opened up your minds to taking things in differently, seeing it. Maybe brands are not the ones at fault. Maybe it's actually the media amplifying things like they do with everything. Tune in next week for the next episode of Cook Talks. Thank you for joining. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And I will see you next week on Cook Talks with AngryBlackWunmi.